So, this is
So,
good. Hi, okay, cool. So, what we did this weekend at this hackathon is basically build an additional feature on top of an existing app. So, FileBeam is already an app that's published and released into the Google Play Store, so you guys can check it out if you want. It's called FileBeam. So, before I go into the additional feature, let me just tell you guys what FileBeam originally does. So, let's say, so you know how everyone came in and everyone's wondering the schedule of this hackathon? So, what you could do is basically beam the schedule from one Dropbox account to another. So, FileBeam works as, so you log in with your Dropbox account, and this shows all your files and folders that's in your Dropbox account, basically. So, what I want to do here is go into
FileBeam is
FileBeam.
your app?
Yes. So go into FileBeam, and let's say this is the schedule that I want to show people, right? So here's what I do. All I do is basically tap these two phones together, and you'll see touch to beam. I'll touch it, and over here you can see one file received. And so what it does is basically once you give it to the other phone basically creates a folder called FileBeam, right there. And as you can see, I just received tapschedule.swag.doc.
Is that other phone a Dropbox phone, or that actually the file is actually transferred to the phone itself?
The file is actually transferred to the phone itself. What it does, it doesn't transfer the file through NFC. It transfers the ID of the file. So it goes into a cloud Dropbox.
So it uses
So you're actually moving the file in the cloud. And
Yes,
then
exactly.
it downstream.
Yep.
So I've got weak connectivity, for instance, all I need to do is get the metadata across.
Yeah,
I don't actually
exactly,
need to shift
exactly,
it.
yes.
So I can shift an arbitrary large file and then asynchronously.
You can send a movie across from one Dropbox account to another.
And what's the app that you need on both devices?
FileBeam.
You need it on both devices?
Yes.
So what happens if you don't have it on the receiving device?
You go download it.
Okay.
Yeah.
But is there a prompt or something?
Yeah, all you have to do is basically beam this to the other one, and so if it detects that it doesn't have the app in the other phone, it automatically leads you to our app in the App Store. So with that said, let's go into my additional feature that I actually made at the hackathon. So when you come in, here, I did like an outline because I didn't have time for a PowerPoint. So I hope that's okay, even though that's kind of informal. So what you can do when you come in here, instead of beaming your schedule to everyone that comes in, because that's kind of anti-productive, what you can do is basically have those tags that you guys are passing around. And let's say you can see this guy, this is actually a meeting, and he's holding the phone to the NFC tag that could be placed on the door. So let me show you how that works. In this time, instead of sending the schedule, I'll send the tapped keynote thing. So I select the file. Actually, I can select folders too, because again, you don't have to. Yeah. So I can do write to tag. So I touch the NFC tag to write. File successfully written onto tag. So now your tag has all the information that you want to send to people. So all you have to do is just place this on the door, and then you exit out of the application, you put this behind the phone, and you have just received that item. So if you guys can tell, this really increases productivity because everyone coming in, they can just tap their phones to the door, boom, 2 seconds, you get everything that you need. So that could work at meetings. Another situation where you could use this writing onto tag function is, let's say you're a professor and you're in a class. You want to give everyone your notes, right? So instead of using the beaming to every student in your class, you can basically put it on a card and then pass it around the class. So one student passes it to the other. So the teacher doesn't even have to stop teaching. He can just continue teaching, as you can tell. He's teaching, and this guy is pictures. Yeah. So those
I'm
are.
endorsing it wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
Sorry, I teach and everything.
Right. Okay. So do you see this coming? Would you use this if you had?
It's a very interesting use case.
Right. So you can. Yeah, that's how you can use it. And so how we can generate revenue. Next slide. How you can generate revenue, there's actually multiple ways to generate revenue through FileBeam. For example, right now we're only using Dropbox. We haven't had time to tap into Google Drive or Box, but eventually in the next couple of weeks we will. And so after you go into Google Drive or Box, that we can charge people Because Dropbox for me is practically enough, but for people who use Box or Google Drive, can pay like an additional fee. I haven't figured out like exactly how much, but that's one feature that you could pay for. The other one, I actually got this inspiration from Wirecard, which is another app, is that you can send up to 20 files a day, send or receive up to 20 files a day, but if you want to do more, you'll have to pay for it. One thing that I forgot to mention about the tag is that the tag also doesn't take into consideration how big of the file you're going to store on it. So you can store up to 5 movies, 100 movies, whatever you want. And also in the situation where you lose your tag, if you have some private information on there or private videos, what you can do is basically go onto our website, still under development, but it's called FileBeam.heroku.com. It's under development. After you go on there, you can see all the tags that you've written, and you can delete them in case you lose them. All right, let's see. Tracking system. That's also our next implementation to generate revenue. Whoever you send the files to and receive files from, you can you can search on our website their name and their email address. So in any case you have any questions or concerns about the file, you can go on there and get their name and shoot them an email.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.